Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. It is the 13th, Thursday. We've got a big day today, huge day today. I really think that Elon Musk may have just popped the cryptocurrency bubble. I am not giving you financial advice. I am not a certified financial advisor, but if I had any money in Bitcoin at all right now, I would be selling every cent of it now. There may be a relief rally. I think there probably will be like a return to normal rally of some sort, and I am going to try and short that straight up. But before we go into that, let's look at the charts, okay? Market's still pretty ugly. Pretty ugly. So yesterday was a true trend day. They ended on the low of the day. They fought it hard for a while there, right? They, this whole thing during our time period, yeah, they tried to pull it out, but whoosh, look at that. Complete flush. We are below every level that is like, they're going to sell and this, that, and the other. Okay, so S&P 500, super ugly. Treasuries, also huge move down, and I think they've got plenty more to go. I mean, given the situation, shouldn't they be going back to the lows of the year? I don't know, but we'll see. Oil also taking a hit yesterday. I think that there are serious concerns about stagflation. Like, all of the commodities actually declined off of all this. Okay. Gold and silver included. Like, the treasury yield going up is hurting gold and silver more than what people might want it as an inflation hedge. That's just what it is. Copper down. Okay. Everything, was there anything that was up yesterday? Coming back over here. I need to blow my nose. My nose itches like crazy here. Holy crap. Okay, so Bitcoin. What's happening in the Bitcoins? Oh, it's still loading. The chart's still loading. I may have to restart NinjaTrader here. Yep, it's crashed. Okay, well, while that's going, at around 6 o'clock Eastern time yesterday, Elon Musk tweeted that Tesla will no longer be using Bitcoin for payments, claiming that there are concerns about its energy consumption. Surely Elon Musk knew this before they started taking payments for it. So I think he's full of crap. I think he's full of crap. I think that they ran into legal issues, like basically being told, hey, you can't book your profits in a fake currency and then report them to everybody, which would then be like a concern for like their earnings and everything else. So maybe that's the reason for the turn. But either way, he is now popping the bubble. This is what he is doing. His tweeting is striking at the heart of the Bitcoin bubble, the thing that everybody seems to believe about cryptocurrency that is objectively false. You cannot base a world currency on something that even as little use as it gets now takes up a tremendous amount of energy usage and tremendous amount of resources. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then on top of all of that, it's not very effective for payments. You have to wait 10 minutes and only so many transactions can get through. And the memory pool is backed up months. Yeah. So those are the first two big ones. The third thing that they've been saying that I think is false is that companies are going to start buying Bitcoin, and that's where all of the money is going to be coming from. There's some problems with that, isn't there? There's some problems with that. So it's striking at the heart of that as well. Number 4, Bitcoin is supposed to be a hedge, but yesterday it didn't move. They didn't move during this whole thing. Everybody, like everything, literally everything is down. Literally everything is down, and Bitcoin does not serve as an inflation hedge yesterday at all. So I say Bitcoin bubble being popped right here in front of our eyes. And hey, maybe the larger market bubble is being popped too, but a little too early to say. I have to say, I'm starting to become a real believer in the everything bubble theory. But if the everything bubble pops, I don't think that it's going to be all at once. I think that there's going to have to be multiple bubble pops over a very long period of time. Yeah. Okay, well, let's kill Ninja Trader here. Put it out of its misery. Oh, now you tell me. Unhandled exception. See, it got hung on something. Let's see here. Okay, so we're getting the jobs numbers now. What do we got? All these numbers coming through here. Core PPI, actual spot 7, forecast spot 4, so very, very above expectations. But what about the jobless claims? Actual 473 versus the forecast 490. So those were in line, but the inflation numbers were bad. Probably already pricing that in because of yesterday. So I don't think I really have a trade here anyways. Good deal. Okay, so I'm going to have to come in here. Oh, maybe we're okay. Maybe we're okay. We can just start Ninja Trader up again. But look, the E-mini is actually buying up there. I don't know. I think I should come in here. I'm going to come in and then do that. And let's set it to 32. Okay, dollar's taking a hit off of that news. So the E-mini is moving up on this. What do you think, guys? Yep, just killed Ninja Trader for sure. Interesting days to come for sure. Yes, sir. Okay. So it looks to me like the dollar is moving down and the E-mini is reflexively moving up because of that. And the treasuries, a wee bit of steepening. Although that, across the curve overall, it's a little bit flat. Is it the jobs that makes it move? Yeah, well, I mean, there was a bunch of numbers that came out here, right? So let me read through them all again. Continuing jobless claims was 3,655 versus an estimated 3,655, so in line with expectations. PPI month over month preliminary for April 1.7% versus a previous of 1.6. Initial jobless claims 473 versus 490, so the initial jobless claims was good. Core PPI year over year 4.1 versus 3.7, not terrible actually, but core PPI month over month for April 0.7 versus 0.4, and the PPI month over month for April is 0.6 versus 0.3. So the PPI numbers were bad, but we already knew that inflation was there. I don't know if seeing it in the PPI changes anything when we saw it in this CPI yesterday too. You know, like the thing that matters, we kind of already found out yesterday. Doesn't mean that the PPI doesn't matter, right? Because what you'll often see, and I think the reason that they have both of them, or that you want to pay attention to both of them, is that sometimes you will see producer price inflation, but not consumer price inflation, because they don't pass it on, and the producers get squeezed instead. So, and I suppose that you could see situations where it's in consumers and not in, but I've never seen that before. I don't know what kind of situation that would cause. Maybe we'll see that situation though. Maybe we will. But I digress. Why is it that a big red ask sell on time and sells goes up and a big green bid buy goes down? I had to change the color, but ask green and bid red. Are you talking about a Ninja Trader? So the thing that you got to understand is that they're looking at it like these are bids and these are offers. And then when they're quoting it to you in the system, you know, hitting the offer is buying and hitting the bid is selling. And so some platforms will change those as buy, you know, make them green or red based off of when you click that, that's a buy or a sell, rather than, oh, it's in Sierra charts? I don't know then. But it's something that I've seen confuse a lot of people. It's like you go into, you know, like your TD Ameritrade or whatever, and it's like, if you want to buy, you hit the offer. That doesn't make sense. Well, it's not because you're offering, it's because you're hitting the offer. You know what? Let's turn on the text to speech here. Okay, well, the E-mini calming down a little bit. I'm not 100% sure why they're buying off of that. Other than the dollar is a little bit volatile there, though, so should be careful about that one. Yeah, I'm gonna miss it. Oops. There we go. Oh, really?
WineTube says in Sierra chart bid is red and green as ask by default, but I became profitable on that later when I realized. Before I was just on wrong side on the market all the time.
Really? That's interesting. I don't know. I feel like that every platform has something about the way that they're set up initially that doesn't make sense. But whatever. So the E-mini over here looks really erratic to me. Okay. Scratched that one. Kind of, I misclicked it, so it... Oh, well. Your thoughts on what the inflation hedge will be? I presume the answer is BT. No, he's teasing me. It seems to me that the only thing that really is safe right now is being long yield in some form. You know, which for us would just mean be short the 10-year. But I don't know, it's coming back at the moment. The thing is, gold and silver have not been an effective hedge right now, have they? It's very interesting. Is this what they did in previous inflation panics? Because I don't understand how you get over the whole yield bit. ETFs represented 33% of the tape yesterday, according to the market here. What? Oh, he took it, really. Well, the other ones came down too, but I don't know. E-mini, another little move up there. I don't know. They're trading over here like they having a real party, and I'm kind of sitting here like, I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm getting a good amount stacking there, and then it all pulls. It's frustrating. Well, that sucks. Hit him. Come on. It's fake. Hit it. Ah. Laser Eye says, hi, guys. Good morning. I don't know. Maybe ES is just a relief rally. Short covering from the news. Somebody was saying that. Will Justin says, so maybe dollar index? Well, I mean, so here's the thing is that you can probably make money on any of these instruments, right? If you go the right way. But I don't think that the call is necessarily to buy the dollar, no. So the dollar probably continues to get hammered. Kind of one of the big issues here is that a lot of commodities and so forth, because really hard commodities is going to be the place where you would want to go, you know, like corn and soybeans and lumber and copper particularly.
Block buy.
They've already gone up quite a bit, you know. So how much more should they be going up? Who's to say? You know what I mean? Okay. So that trade was a good one. As much as they tried to scare us out and be all menacing and everything, I had it right. Or at least the edge that I was basing that off of held, so I'm happy about it. Anyways, I don't know. Maybe gold and silver will eventually move. I mean, it's not like they're doing terrible for the week, right? If we come back over here, gold, right? There was a big breakout. So even though I would have liked it to have been another leg higher and be above 1850, like, hey, it's okay, I guess. Okay, getting some spread here again. No trader bite from Futures Trader 71 today. That's odd. Come back over here. Oh, and you should pause this over here. One of the things that's annoying is when you have the little interface up for streaming, then it will show you a little video, you know, so that you can confirm, yeah, it's actually working. But it's like, I don't want to watch the video. I don't want to be streaming data back to myself. Why would I do that? If gold just gets above 1850, says, well, right? I don't know, man. It's with the yields. It's like, what are you gonna do? I don't know, man. The robots think the correlation matters more, and gold I think needs to have another step up or two to get to the point. Like if the general public picked up on it, if you know, all it would take is the hype. Right? All it would take is the hype, and this would take off like a rocket ship, right? But because of the yield thing, the people that would come in and bring the hype don't come. Well, looking at the indexes, just trying to game out how this might work, right? They're getting above, well, they're getting close to some of the overnight high levels before this big dip down. That would be higher than yesterday's close. I think they could trigger, I think that they could trigger some buy the dip kind of action. How do you fight against those days your mind is far away from the markets? You thinking about something else? I don't know, put on a position. you put on a position, and you immediately want to look at it, right? I think that the best thing though would be to just be cognizant of where you're at, and if today isn't a good day for you to put on risk, then just don't put on risk, you know? That's really the key. So just remember, a large portion of what goes on out there in retail trading is really just taking on risk. You don't have any real edge in terms of whether you're going to be right or wrong, and so to some extent, is just gambling. If you put out, your target and your stop based on what your target and your stop is, I can probably predict within 5 percentage points what your win rate is going to be, right? And it's just the case that the randomness of markets ends up, being more important than anything else that you're looking at, right? The randomness of markets and what the daily trend is. Okay, like right now, if you've been long, you've been making money, right? Probably better chance of making money if you go long right now than if you go short. But I don't have any kind of edge to say that that's just what it's been doing, right? So if that is the case, then a really big factor in terms of whether you're profitable or not is how you are able to manage the positions once you have them on. That when you have one that is truly working and you really know that it is, and you really know that it's going to go further, you let those ones run, right? So everything else being equal, you'll break even, and then you get the ones where you're able to extend them, or you're able to get the ones where you cut them off short sometimes because you know that you're wrong already, right? That's where you can gain some edge, right? Which is very discretionary and all of this and that. So that means that if you come in on a day and you don't feel like you're paying attention, or you feel like you're kind of off, then you're probably better off trading at Sim. Right? So it's managing yourself, really. Must always have a trading plan. Well, yeah, but this is the big issue that I have with a lot of what I see in retail trading is just that most people are trading off of things that don't really have edge. Like a lot of people say, oh, you have to have a plan, and like this. Okay, what this really comes down to is, if you don't have an edge, all other things being equal, you're going to lose money, and you're going to lose everything. It might happen really slowly, but you're going to lose money, right? So when that's happening, that plays mind games with you. So a lot of people will come in and think that the key is managing themselves, when really the issue is that they didn't have any edge to begin with. So if you realize that your entries and exits don't have any edge to them, but you may have some edge in how you manage the position once you have it on, you get what I mean? Inflation or deflation, looking for a small rally in Eurobond on Monday. There are so many who are caught short. If you didn't know the edge was on the bear side yesterday and kept buying dips, you have no edge at all in this market when signals are so obvious. Oh, Vlad, right? You know what? Somebody showed me a stream yesterday. I won't say who it is, but it was a channel that I've been suspicious of for some time. It wasn't our good friend Matt either, by the way. I think that Matt is an honest guy that tries hard, and I like him as a person. And I can't really comment too much on what his performance is because I don't really look at it. I've seen bad days from him, but I've seen good days from him too. So it wasn't him. It was somebody else. And they lost 5K. They were down 5K. They were trying to buy it. And I'm sitting here looking at this and I'm like, man, if you didn't know that yesterday was the CPI print and that if the CPI print was hot, that we were going to go down, and that when the CPI print was not just hot, but scorching double what the expectation was, that's a trend down day. You try buying that dip, you've got work to do, man. I'm not going to say stop trading, but you've got work to do, man. Because remember my video about trading the news? That has become now the quintessential example in my mind. Okay? You as a retail trader, you can immediately know at that point, okay, there's going to be a lot of mess. It's going to be really hard. There's going to be short little moves that are going to be larger than your stop. But you can almost bank on it that we're going to end that day lower. The market is simply not capable of pricing that in fast enough. It takes days to price something like that in. Right? This is where, remember, the market is not efficient. The limit order book is not efficient. There are inefficiencies in a limit order book, namely when the liquidity dries up. The liquidity dries up. I could come in here and I can say, hey, I think that the S&P 500 is worth 4,000. Like, I know I have this model and it is like absolutely dead on every time. And I have all of the empirical, like, I know for certain that based on that information that the S&P 500 should be worth 4,000 right now, right? Okay. There are a certain number of contracts that I can trade on it going down to that spot. Okay, you can literally calculate it out based on the volatility and everything that's going on in the market. Okay, but if the market liquidity dries up, then you can't trade that with as many contracts, right? And at what point is the number of contracts that you can put on for that, take advantage of that inefficiency, not worth it? You get what I mean? It'll come in and, oh yeah, if I do this and I could take it with 500 contracts and that would be a good trade. But now, because of the market, I can really only do it with like 30 contracts. It's not worth it. It's not, and yeah, I might be right, but there could still be a move against me. So like, it's not worth the risk, right? And so what happens? Well, it's not like it doesn't go down to 4,000 eventually. It's just, it's harder for it to get there because the liquidity is not there. They have to hold off and wait for the liquidity to come back. That's why you get this, I'm going to come back over here to the chart and pull up my 5-minute chart. Okay. You look at yesterday. Okay. We clearly have a big meta order down, but look right here. Okay. This was market after market open. Well, so there's this first one here. So remember where this square is. Where the square starts, there was slippage. The liquidity had difficulty there. So what happens? Comes down there, difficulty with liquidity. They have to wait 45 minutes. Right? comes down, difficulty with liquidity. Now a little bit of a bounce, has to wait 5 minutes, and then goes down. Here again, kind of flattens out, difficulty with liquidity, right? Difficulty with liquidity. This one was actually kind of weird because then they did, this was the one time where they did immediately come back down, but it was kind of already had been flat in that area for a while anyways. But here again, almost right afterwards, another turn down, right? So that's an inefficiency. I've just shared with you a market inefficiency that I might not be able to use it to tell you which direction it's going to go or what price it's going to go to, but it's just something that shows you there is a limitation in how far they can move. And if you have a piece of news that you know is going to move the market and is going to move the market significantly, you can just get in and you can watch the order book and know the spots to get in, because you could come in and be like, okay, yeah, they're going to be stuck here for a while. I'll get the farther end of this range, and then I think that the meta order will continue. I don't call anyone taking the other side of my trade dumb. I need those people. Well, I just don't want the others, in a situation like that. Like, here's the thing. In a situation like that, we can all make money. Us retail traders, we can all make money, because who are we taking it from? We're taking it from the large hedge funds and ETFs and so forth that are simply too big to move, right? We can come in, one lot, hit in right away. You know that it's going to be a trend down day, and they have to spend all day selling, and you can just take it right at the beginning and ride it all day. Okay, so are you for setting a daily goal to limit risk, or don't, because setting goals can make you trade bad setups? If you, I've done empirical studies on this, and in every situation, and well, not in every situation, in every strategy that I've ever tested it on, setting a daily limit, stop loss limit, improves the properties of your strategy. Doesn't necessarily like increase your win rate, or it doesn't even necessarily increase your total profit, but it always increases your Sharpe ratio and your maximum drawdown. Basically, every strategy will come into a situation where there is some sort of fat tail about that day. Is that what I'm going to call it? The daily fat tail. Basically, a day where the strategy will lose a ton of money. And if you can identify what the threshold is for that, where this is a fat tail and you're going to keep losing and you can stop, then you will decrease your maximum drawdown. And I've tried that on dozens of strategies, and that always helps. Setting a daily loss limit. How do you define having trouble with liquidity? Well, so the way that I'm detecting it in that chart is that I can see the liquidity pull, and it results in a price not trading, right? Basically, the market makers pulled their orders, and so there was a trade at 40.72, and then the next trade was 40.71, and there was a 4-tick gap between those two trades, right? That's how I'm detecting it. But there can be milder ones, right? There can be, so you're looking for any situation where on the depth of market, it trades through an area on very little volume. Like that the move was primarily because people pulled, right? But it's situational, because that could mean that the market, if we're in a clear downtrend, then you know that that's probably like it's going to stop and then come back and go later. Okay. Or well, let me game it out here for you. Okay. Because I see kind of three situations. So if we don't know, if we're in a market that is mean reverting, okay, then I come down into here and I get one of those, then I should expect it to reverse. Okay. Basically, there's no key fundamental driver. Then once they get to the point where the robots are like, whoa, hold up, that maybe I'm getting some informed trading against me in a poll, that's like almost exactly where they turn. Okay. Situation number 2 is we got a pretty good move, right? And I'm looking for a double distribution day. Then what we should expect to see here again is square root law of market order impact, right? And so where you're going to start seeing the order book like freak out is going to be about right here. So once you start to see that behavior, and another way that you could see it is like some absorption, right? So like if we're coming up and I'm expecting a double distribution and I start to see that large meta order, a large offer or something like that, like in the 10-year, say we're coming up and we just traded 10K at 02. Now this isn't a good example because I don't necessarily know why we're moving up, but let's just say that we know why we're moving up and we expect there to be a double distribution of some sort, right? And we started seeing 10K at 02 half, then that's basically signs that the order book is having issues, right? Because what causes it is that the people have the positions on so much that they can't have liquidity out there anymore, right? So you want to put a big iceberg out there and get out of your positions, right? Take profits. So for you, the retail guy, that usually means that it's going to keep going a little bit more, all right? So you'll see that a lot in the 10-year. And be a big old offer, and then it goes a little bit more. And it'll go like another leg, and you'd be like, oh crap, I got out early. Right? But if it's a trend day, then you know you're gonna get this. They're gonna go until the order book has issues. They're gonna back off, and then probably 45 minutes later, they're gonna do it again. If you know it's gonna be a trend day. But I don't know. I wouldn't focus on that so much because there's a lot more to that I'm not going to share with you. But what you should focus on is that there is inefficiency in the order book, and there are situations where simply because of the order book, this idea that the efficient market hypothesis, it literally can't be true. It literally can't be true. You come out, there's the efficient market hypothesis. The efficient market hypothesis would state that, or would mean that if a piece of information like the CPI number came out, that the market if the market was 100% efficient, it would immediately move down to the correct price then at that point, right? That the market would immediately be able to price that in. And what I'm saying is that because of the order book, that's not possible. It takes time for them to do it. They have to trade a certain number of contracts to get it there. And in a situation like that, like yesterday, that the amount of time that it's going to take them to get there is going to be a long time. So yeah, can you as a retail trader take advantage of that edge? Yes, but you got to know what's going on, right? You got to know that everybody was waiting for that CPI print. You got to know that inflation is the concern on everybody's mind, and that kind of a print was a big deal. How do you think of Axie Futures Trading Course? I mean, I haven't taken it, so I don't know. The thing that I will tell you is that courses like that can definitely give you a leg up. But generally speaking, a market inefficiency, like a specific market inefficiency that you can come in and take advantage of every day, they're not going to share that with you in a course. If they were sharing something like that on Axia, there'd be too many people trading it. Like, I can come in here and I can tell you what I am about the order book on a trend day, because we know that as many people as know about it, there's, I couldn't possibly reach enough people to eliminate that inefficiency, right? Like, the whole thing is it's such a big change to the market that even with all of the big guys out there and everything, it takes more than a day to price it in, right? But those only come around once a quarter, unfortunately. So, something that you can take advantage of every day that's an edge? I don't think that they're going to tell you that in a course. If they told you that in a course, just a couple hundred people knowing it, and then all of them wanting to trade a couple, sizing up, it would eliminate the inefficiency from the math that I've done. So that doesn't mean that education is worthless. Doesn't mean that the education is worthless. It just means that it's not going to get you all the way there, right? Volume trading FT71. Well, so I can't really speak to the volume profiling thing to that extent, right? Like, we've talked about how we've tried backtesting a couple of the setups and some that are pretty much are similar to what FT71 does. And when I go through them, I can't find an edge in the entry. But here again, the edge may not be the entry and exit, right? I think that in many cases, there are a lot of retail traders out there that don't realize that their entry and exit are almost completely irrelevant, and that their edge is coming from how they manage the position, right? I would think that would probably be the case with FT71, and I think that he realizes that too, because and I've watched a lot of his stuff, like all of his webinars and stuff. I learned a lot from that guy, right? And he always talks about, like, the only thing that you can really do is manage your risk. Well, I don't think that that's completely true, okay? Because you can find a predictive signal. It is possible. It's just hard, okay? But with the way that they're making money, yeah, it's managing the risk. So the way that he manages the risk, he can come in, he knows what the natural oscillation of the market is. So he can set out a target that is really, really likely to be hit overall anyways, right? And then you can use what you made there to give yourself room to let the trade run, so that you're more likely to be able to catch a runner. And then by the time that you catch a runner, then you kind of have some idea of what's going on, right? Especially if you're keeping up with the news and everything else. Options activity can give you a predictive signal. You have to be, that's not very specific. So I can say that's possible, yes, that you could find a predictive signal there, yes. Anyways, the way that you manage it can be a big part of the edge, right? But I haven't been able to backtest every little thing about volume profile, but a lot of them, in terms of like, can you take this with a specific risk reward setup and make money and prove it through a backtest, I've been unable to do that. Although probably we could do a lot more research in that area. I would really, we need to go into some of that stuff, but I haven't really been I haven't been doing a ton of development lately, just because I've been kind of doing other stuff, and I've been researching. But I'm much more interested at the moment in kind of machine learning model type things. It seems to me that some of the signals that I really know are very situational, and you've got to create this matrix that's like, okay, here's the types of days situation, and then here's the strategy that you need to do. And like it's a complicated matrix that machine learning can probably figure out, but it would be incredibly difficult for you to figure out on your own, right? And that's kind of what I'm looking at more right now. In options, I'm sure that you could go and find there's probably a lot of mispricings in options all the time, but I don't mess with that because I don't feel confident that I can get the data that I want. So it's the same with that market by order thing. I suspect that I might be able to find some market inefficiencies with a market by order data, but not willing. Don't have the cash flow to pay $100 a month for that at the moment. Like, not without knowing that I would have an edge with it, right? Like, I want to pay for it. If we get our indicators to the point where they're making that much, then we'll do it. But I don't know. We gotta go bigger at some point, right? Like, I was thinking about this morning because it was like, who was it? Somebody the other day was like, "Oh, why don't you do a contest with me?" Why would I do that? Why would I elevate the profile of somebody else that I don't like? Because like, look, neither of us are CTAs. None of us run a hedge fund. Look, if I was that good, I would run a hedge fund, right? This doesn't mean that I'm awful. Ace says, "Hey, when I have a bone to pick with you." So to fill you guys in, yesterday, Ace, because we were talking, Wynn was talking about it, and she was like, "Was Ace just trying to sell us all on something?" Which was like, well, that doesn't really line up with a lot of things that he did, but I don't know how to explain what he's been doing. But there doesn't have to be a reason, So I just kind of dismissed it. But then Ace actually did come and respond on the video later. and he was upset about it. So I did finally text him, and it was all good after that. Ace, I had to get harsh to have you return. I'm so delighted to see you again. I missed your character. Oh, is that what it was? You were intentionally saying that because you knew that it would get his attention and make him come back and argue with you. Oh man. If that was really, I mean, that kind of sounds like, after the fact kind of gaming. But if you were actively at the very beginning of that thinking, "Oh, I bet you that we can get Ace's attention here if I say X thing," then bravo. That was oh. HF, I never left. I just haven't been commenting. Turns out there are other rooms. Oh, okay. That's good. Or you could apologize. You should apologize. Well, I apologize. I just the thing is, Ace, is that one day I wasn't like trying to get on you or be mean to you. I was concerned for your well-being. I hope you understand that. Like, when I went and I did all this stuff to become a partner with Ninja Trader, when I read through all of their requirements, and there's all this legalese in there, I kind of started looking at a couple of things that I commonly see in retail traders that I was like, that's actually not very smart legally speaking. And I think that I was like, oh, I've probably done some things that or at least wanted people to do things that probably weren't so smart legally speaking, Please find me one instance of anyone ever getting sued over a post in a trading room. Well, you're right. You're right, Ace. It would have to probably be something way more systemic, right? Like, it would have to be like Ace created a trading room and continually lied to people for years and years and years until the SEC finally picked up on his radar. You know, like the Raging Bull guys. But one of the things that they're going to have in the court case, right? There's probably going to be a point in that Raging Bull court case where they're going to establish or prove that essentially the Raging Bull guys induced a person to trade based off of a strategy or information that they were giving them that they objectively knew didn't work. Well, and I guess the issue is that they would have to objectively know that it doesn't work, and we actually know that your results are pretty good. So maybe you're okay in that respect, but that's all I was trying to say. Be careful about seeing things that could induce somebody to trade. I thought it was helping valid and wanted part of says trading room. Turns out we call it. Well, but I think you are helping. That's the thing, Ace. Is like, I kind of think that if you truly do everything that you can to help other traders, that you could get yourself in trouble. That's kind of the issue that I'm having. I've never heard of Joseph James Maker, so I can't say. I'm not gonna read HF's because here again, like, well, I will address it specifically. So I've seen, I was on, what was it, Monday? It was on Monday. Things were getting crazy, and so I said, okay, this is interesting because I've done okay, right? Like, yesterday obviously was a sim, and remember I was saying, like, in order for me to trade this and be comfortable with it, I think I would need 10k. But I would hope that if I was alive, that I would be in the state of mind that I would make the same decisions, right? And I was doing really well, and have been doing really well all this week. So even though it's been hard though, and there's been like big drawdowns on it. So I'm like, oh, okay, let's go and see what some of the other people are doing. And I watched Matt go like 5k down or something like that. But like the thing is at the end of the thing, he was saying, like, you know, I don't have all the answers. And I looked at it and I was like, well, it's not like I haven't done the same thing, right? I've had days where I lost 500 on a micro contract, which is comparable, right? So just, he was trading in a full ES and I was trading a micro ES. So it's not like I'm any better per se. But what Hermos is that I came back in just to make sure you could reach out to me. You're a big happy part of my morning, and we didn't a big part of yours. Oh. I did not want to think the one I thought, but I did think that you might return. I hope you would return, Ace. Good. Who is it? Oh, I was talking about Matt. So I take issue with saying Matt is a joke. I don't think that's true. Okay, I think that he's a retail trader like the rest of us, and that there's going to be like really bad times, and that probably with the way that he trades, that he's taking on risk basically, and so he'll have periods where he makes money, and then he'll have like bad days. And the key for him, if he wants to continue trading that way, is how well he manages those bad days. And on that particular day, he just didn't manage it very well. And it will be, you know, he's going to probably have to go through that many, many times before he gets to the point where he realizes, like, oh, on a day like this, I can't do that, you know? Mike says, I was fighting long all day yesterday in ZN when I knew the trade was shorting with the trend. Hard to make your brain work sometimes. Oh, totally, Mike. And I can explain why that happens too, by the way. Especially in ZN. I think that ZN is the worst with this, right? Because what happens is I would rather get filled if I was going to go long right now. Do I put a limit order at 03 or do I buy into 03 half, right? Well, if we're in a strong trend, then I'm going to get filled at 03. So I have to buy it into 03 half. But then if I do get filled at 03, if I just happen to get filled at 03 and it's like a trend day, then that just means I'm getting into the pullback, you know? And so then it goes against me further because of that, right? So it's like you end up saying, oh, well, it would be easier for me to get filled at 03 half. Your brain just knows, like, oh, you know what? It would be easier for me to put a limit order out at 03 half and go short. Like, otherwise, I'm never going to get filled on anything. And so you just keep falling for that over and over and over again. Thinking that. What day was this? Well, so when I was thinking about Matt, that was Monday, I think. Just this past Monday. I think yesterday he made some money, so. But I don't look at it every day. I just looked at it that one day. I was like, well, now is probably a good time to go and try and look at some other people, right? Anyways, to Ace's thing, like the thing in my mind is like, okay, so we want to help people. I've realized there's probably some limitations in what we can do to help each other, help other traders, at least publicly through YouTube. It's different when you're like messaging people, I think, right? But like here on the stream, there's kind of like there's certain limitations, I think, to that. But where do you go from there? You know, like I think for you, Ace, like dead serious. I think that you should start working towards and thinking about a fund. That's what I think we really should be going. Now, I don't know if you're really there right now. I'm sure that there's probably still like, I'm pretty sure that you've been making money lately, but I'm sure that you've also had, you know, some drawdowns that make you a little uncomfortable, right? So maybe we're not there right away, but it seems to me like it's possible for you, right? Then we can all just give you the money. I'll go and become a certified investor. So that or we all at some point combine together and, you know, we get like 5 or 6 of us manage a fund together. That's maybe should be the long-term goal, yeah? You get what I'm saying? You smell what I'm stepping in? Okay, yeah, we're gonna pay attention here in 3 minutes. The E-mini is gonna start. That's what I need to remember. No one was probably using or benefiting from my trade calls. I was just making me feel special. Well, no, yes and no. Oh, should I turn on Gabby? You know what happened was when my workspace got destroyed yesterday, the algorithms got removed and I haven't added them back on. The thing is I think that we were benefiting from your trades, Ace. It's just that there's like a limit to how much, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's useful because I can see certain things about the way that you trade that help make you successful that are really beneficial. But if I directly try and follow your call after you call it out, there's inherent issues with that because I'll probably screw it up, or just the delay in knowing is it could be enough to screw up the trade, that sort of a thing. Announcing the calls made me a better trader and forced me to be precise, and I can walk away from that now after a couple of years and just be a better trader just for me. Oh, there you go. That's fine. That's good. But what I want to get to, if you want to help me, Ace, the thing that you can do that would help me and everybody else the most is, once you're in a trade, writing down out, or, record, or maybe you get on Discord and we can talk while you're doing it and explain why you manage it the way that you do. If you just take the profit, why you just took the profit. If you're letting it run, why you're letting it run, and how you're deciding to let it run. Because that is the part that it seems like your edge is really at. It seems to me like there is some sort of edge that we can pull in managing a trade, managing a runner, that we could probably even express mathematically, but it's probably really sophisticated. Yeah, sounds like work. It is work. Oh, trading is work. Well, the hard work for you, Ace, will be actually getting in Discord. that is apparently a ton of work to get Ace into Discord. I need to get it service some more signal, please. Yeah. Oh, I like when Bots talks to you. Yeah, so Bots has been, when I talked to Bots, he messaged us a couple of days ago. He apparently hadn't been trading too much because they were like refinishing their kitchen or something like that. Dropped my bombs, flew away. The other thing, Ace, is it was like I was saying to you in messaging. Like, I think, here's what I think about myself. Maybe this is like a self-limiting belief, but here's what I believe about myself. I think that what we do on this stream is really boring, and that the majority of people aren't going to be interested in it. You know what I mean? And I can be fun and entertaining. I mean, sometimes it's politics and not everybody likes politics, but I can be fun and entertaining, but I just don't naturally get into that all the time, Whereas I feel like that you're like that. Like, it's hard to be in a conversation with Ace and not be entertained and not have fun, because he's just a fun guy. You know what I mean? I agree. It's really boring. Only traders. Right. Exactly. And it's kind of like, if we want to grow the stream part of this, to me, what really matters is the trading, right? And well, that was a pretty good buy on the open, by the way. I'm not sure if I really want to buy it today though. So I'm kind of gonna let them take it both ways. But that a buy like that kind of suggests to me that this is gonna be like a really big, reversion day. I like it because I'm a trader, not appealing to anyone else. Yeah, exactly. So like, to me, the thing that matters the most is the trading. The way that this stream helps the trading is that it allows us to collaborate a little bit more closely, right? So that's where doing the stream is beneficial to streaming in particular. So at that point, then it also means that the more people we can reach with the stream, the better it will be for us in the long run, right? So we should spend some time doing things that make the stream more popular, just as long as it doesn't interfere or hurt our edge in the trading aspect, right? And to that end, the back and forth and joking around and having fun in chat, I think is a good thing for the channel overall, and that we need to do more of it. And I just don't naturally go into that mode, Usually, a classroom or a club will have about 30 regular members. Your channel's like the cool kids club in the high school cafeteria. People come and go, and some stay for dessert. Yeah, it probably is a. I've never thought of it that way, but I think that's a good allegory. Is that the right word, allegory? So just want to point out right here in the E-mini that absorption at 4084. But if we're gonna get a double distribution, it was like I was saying, I'm not confident taking an outright short right there, because we could be in a double distribution day where we're gonna move up and we're gonna distribute somewhere higher because the market has realized that we've gone too far, and then that could mean that we still have a good, 2/5 of the move left or something like that. But I'm also not confident just buying it here. I mean, we could buy it here. Well, I wonder if it just takes off from here too, because sometimes they'll just kind of screw around with it and it's nothing and they go through. So that's the way that indexes can be. Then the treasuries are kind of seeing this and going, okay, well, we're going to increase the rate on you a little bit if that's the way you're going to be. Did you get vaccines? Oh man, can I tell you with the vaccine, because I'm not, man, I see so many people say things about vaccines that just sounds like total bullshit. Well, there's lots of people on the Donald saying like absolutely crazy things like, don't get anywhere near me if you had the vaccine because you have this damaged DNA in you and you're going to give it to me and then I'll become sterile. That's what people are saying. Don't you think that's so dumb? But I would be lying if I didn't say I'm kind of afraid to take it, because not that I think that it's going to harm me, but because I'm pretty certain that because I've already been sick with it once, that when they give me the vaccine, that I'm going to have a bad reaction to it. I guess it's temporary and it's not actually going to harm me or anything like that. But I just I think about it, I'm like, oh, I don't want to go through that again, I know several people who have had the vaccines. No one is reporting side effects other than 24 hours of blah and weird crampings across the. Well, that's weird. Weird cramping across the chest, but yeah, I mean, almost everybody, not almost, but I think here in Utah, that it's probably 80% of people have either had have had COVID or have the vaccine. Okay. So I know a lot of people that had the vaccine, and I know a lot of people that had really adverse reactions to it. The issue is that having an adverse reaction to the vaccine isn't a bad thing in and of itself, right? Yeah, Adrian Brassi says the vax fucked me up bad for 2 days, both those doses. Yeah, like that should be, because you got to realize that the reason that coronavirus is so harmful is because your body overreacts to it and produces so many leukocytes to kill what's in your lungs that you basically drowned, and that's what kills people, right? So you would expect that when you get it that you'll have a pretty adverse reaction to it. Your body will your immune response will activate on it even though you're not actually sick. But it's still kind of scary, it's still uncomfortable. I'm worried about the same. I don't see why I would need the vaccine if I have natural antibodies still after 6 months. Yeah, so I think the issue there, Mike, as I understand it, is that there's different levels of your immune response, and certain parts are easier for them to measure than others. And so with the antibodies in particular don't stick around if you just get it naturally. Whereas the vaccine produces that, certain vaccines rather produce that antibody response much more effectively. Yeah, vaccine is better than your own antibodies. You're essentially right. That's my understanding of how it works. Man, the treasury is all over the place. You see, they spiked down there all the way to 31.5, and now they're all the way back up. So that one is a little curious, but I don't know if I can take advantage of it. Yeah, makes sense. Why does Rand Paul keep picking a fight with Dr. Fauci? Sure. So the issue is that Dr. Fauci has said a few things that I believe are to manipulate the public more than they are to share factual scientific information. So, for instance, you tell everybody that masks don't work, even though you kind of know that it would be good public policy for everybody to wear masks because, or at least you suspect that it may be the case, because you need the masks to go to health workers first. So you lie about it. Or you come out and you say, well, even if you've had the vaccine, you still need to wear the mask. Because what happens, like, can you imagine, like, game that out in your mind? Okay, if you've had the vaccine, you don't have to wear a mask anymore. So now all of a sudden wearing a mask is like this big red flag that person could potentially be contagious and needs to be avoided. So then nobody wants to wear the mask because it like marks you as dangerous, right? So then less people wear masks overall, and then it's not useful. So you can't tell people, oh, well, if you have had the vaccine, you don't have to wear a mask anymore and you can do whatever you want. You can't tell people that from a public policy perspective. You know, just think about it, right? So what's happening? Rand Paul knows that and says, hey, what you're saying doesn't make sense and doesn't match up. So you grill them about it in Congress. I don't know. If it was me, I probably wouldn't push them on it. Unless it was a particular thing that I really felt was misleading. Fauci isn't the Oracle CNN. Yeah, they oversold him for sure. He is like a public health director. He's not like an actively practicing doctor on this. Okay, so that was a pretty big down move there. It actually happened twice. Probably Gabby would be trying to take a trade off of it. Well, okay, so one thing that I can say is that we are relatively stable enough that I could try taking some 16 tickers. So I will put it on my experimental account and see if we can get a spot. We'll put a test trade out. Anyways. So in other news, did I tell you that we figured out who the rooster is? So I got chickens, right? I made a TikTok about the chickens where they tried to predict the interest rate. And they were right, by the way. But I got 5 chickens. I got 3 fluffies and I got 2 Plymouth Rock ones. And we start, one day I'm down, and because they're like juveniles now. I haven't introduced them to the rest of the flock yet, although I think I'm going to do it today. I think we're going to do it today because it's supposed to be a lot warmer from here on out. So they've just been in the kitchen. So I'm getting ready for breakfast and I can hear it. Who did that? Because we're not allowed to have roosters, right? Like, that's against city ordinance to have roosters. I told him, I was like, whoever that was, do not do that again, because the government will find you and they will make us give you up. He didn't listen. He keeps crowing. So it took me a week to figure out who it was, but I figured out who it was. And it was the white one. It was the white one. The cutest one, by the way. I think that the big white fluffy one is the cutest one. Here's the rooster. So we're going to have to give him up. But here's the crazy thing is that, like, I don't know. I'm going to put them up and just be like, okay, you can have this fluffy. He's free. No questions asked. But apparently some people eat them. Apparently if you eat them right as they start to crow, then they can still taste okay. But if you wait any later, then they're no good for meat. But hopefully we find a farm that needs a rooster, and he will be happy because he's a very pretty. He's very cute. And he's relatively nice. Why on earth you can have roosters? You know, I took out my stop there. So that was my test trade was bad. So you're not allowed to have roosters in many cities because they're loud, right? Oh, by the way, do I have... Okay, yeah, I do. Fine. Yeah, they're loud, so you're not allowed to have them. So then the issue is that normally you can't even get the rooster, right? Like most chickens, they try and breed the chickens so that you can tell whether they're a boy or a girl just from the color of them, right? But silkies are difficult to do that with. Right. Silkies were bred to look cool, and so because of that, they haven't been able to make them sex-linked yet. And you don't test them because that's like extra work. It costs more. So for silkies in particular, they tend to sell them just as a straight run, which means you're just buying chickens and you hope that you don't get a rooster. And one of the three was a rooster. Go figure. So we have to get rid of him. Cheney says she'll do whatever it takes to keep Trump out of the White House. Well, so they just made another attempt at the high there, but it's kind of, I don't know. I can try this again. No, I'm gonna cut it off early. This is not reacting to that spot correctly. Now over here in the treasury, if I'm lucky, I can maybe pull that out. Yeah, it's probably not going to go, huh? Nope. So I'm going to cancel that now. So the situation's changed. Where did the sellers go? I don't know. So it was just right there on that open. Like if I see an open where on the open itself there's a couple thousand cumulative delta and it's a really clearly all in one direction, you know, that alone will have me kind of on edge, like it going the other way. So that's why I was kind of like, well, I can take a test trade, but I'm kind of skittish about it, right? Because I know that it's possible for it to turn short in this kind of situation, because I still think that the fundamentals favor short, but because of that, it could be like a reversion day. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. And I'm not getting anything really clear in any of the other assets that kind of tell me like this would be a good spot in the E-mini, so I'm kind of having issues with it. See, well, that was the kind of move that I would like to have, you know, a little bit of favorable excursion having gone into, but it's a little bit late now. Unless I know that they're going to cross this divide here. No. See, this is a little aggressive. It's bouncing. Should have bought that one, in fact. Now I need to fix this one. The level 2 got screwed up on it. That hasn't happened in a while. Sure, Tucker gives you a take, but he's got an angle just like the CNN guys. Well, you know what I've been noticing has been happening a lot in news media is these journalists will take one tiny little piece of information and then make a big deal out of it. And then it ends up that like when they get more information, that it's not a big deal. Tucker does that all the freaking time. Like the issue that I see in like news media, I mean, I think that it's across the board. I think it's social media in particular. The way that things work right now encourages everybody to overhype everything, right? It's like it's encouraging everybody to overhype everything. If you go on TikTok and you're like, here's a nuanced view of the market, and this could happen or this could happen, but you know, our ability to really accurately predict things is somewhat limited, and yada, like nobody cares. But if you're all hype and you're like, guys, this is the next cryptocurrency that's gonna blow up, you need to get into it right now. Here's what's going on. Dogecoin is gonna go to $100 trillion, guys, and that means it's gonna be worth like $10. Get in now. It's absolutely ridiculous, the most stupid thing that you'd ever, but because you're hype about it, everybody watches it. It's ridiculous. Marketeer says steady arc outflows. There's the E-mini pushing up a little bit higher. Oh, that was the overnight low from yesterday. Oh, so we're, yeah, I get you. We're in this same area. Well, not quite. We're coming into the breakdown. Like this was where they broke out yesterday. Yesterday there was the initial move down, and then it was really slow, and then once they broke a new low, then it was like it really fell apart, right? They're testing that right now. I'm not exactly seeing anything like the market really reacting to it as an area either so far. Tucker makes news, so I stay familiar with his nightly anchortainment. Yeah. Well, the split side of that is that Tucker has on occasion found stories that I think were significant that everybody else ignored, you know, so. User reports indicate Twitter is having problems since 9:42. So interesting. I'm also wondering if this could be a measured move. But if this was a measured move, then they've already priced it in. Still looks pretty bullish there. I don't know. The volume has actually been kind of flat through all this, but if these passive sellers can get the F out, we could have a very nice uptrend day talking about the treasury. I would buy this right one tick right here in the 5-year 03 to 03 quarter. I'm only interested in doing them in the 10-year, so. Bloomberg Crypto says Elon Musk and Kathy Wood suddenly disagree over Bitcoin. Where is Bitcoin right now, by the way? 450, 415. They got to be careful. Like another flush, if it, like say Elon Musk came out and made another thing that was like, oh, by the way, we can't use Bitcoin for transactions because the fee is too high and you don't know if it's guaranteed to go through, right? Did they take another plunge? Maybe. I don't know if that would be enough to make them plunge. Or maybe Elon Musk says, you know what, this tether thing kind of scares me. And then, yeah, they drop below 4,500. There, we could see some chaos. Okay, well, there's 4102. We may be getting. Dollar seems to be under a little bit of pressure. So that's probably helping him a little bit. Zero Hedge says SI 100. What is that? Or is that silver ETF? Goodbye, Elon. Hello, Steve Cohen. 0.72 to get big in crypto. The Hill tweet stocks bounce back from heavy inflation-driven losses over the past 2 days. Oh, Bitfinex is tweeting again today. Let's see what he's saying. Oh, they must have put something out. Tether backed by 3.87% cash and 65.39% commercial paper. What's that? They won't say. Is that from some attestation that they've done? Treasury bills, reverse repo notes, cash, fiduciary deposits, and then commercial paper is 65% of it. Oh, that is concerning. I wonder if one of the commercial paper counterparties is Deltec Bank. You know, the bank Tether bought a shareholder stake in and had to fire the CEO. And they pushing hard. Like, this is like full on bull, man. I'm not sure I can participate in this. I obviously should have gone long at some point. But I have a really hard time being like that fully, full conviction on just like a reversion, you know? So it's difficult. I may just not really have an edge in this kind of a situation. Let's see here. Where are we at? So 11 or 12, I'd start to go like, okay, there's like another spot that we might see interesting stuff at. Not that those kinds of levels matter, but that's just the spot where I know the chartists are going to be looking. Maybe let's say 10. Okay, well, I have to say this. So this bull move, by the way, much bigger candle than anything before it. Much bigger candle than anything before it. Like anything yesterday. And what about in cumulative delta? 15,000 cumulative delta. Massive short covering, I guess. Yeah, well, there probably is short covering for sure. I mean, the thing is we knew that a lot of the large guys were selling last week going into this anyways. And then there was tons of, positioning Monday, Tuesday. So I guess it shouldn't surprise us that after Wednesday we say should be a total sell. And then after that, they cover. The thing is they kind of waited for that news, and it really felt to me, if I come back here, 6:30. Yeah, I mean, there was movement both ways, but it seemed pretty bullish off of the news. And then when the E-mini opened up, it was like gangbusters. I don't know. The thing is we don't have to put more risk on today. I never switched over to the Sirius account. I don't think I want to here at 10 either. But we still got an hour. Oh, today has been a long day. Oh, by the way, we did get the ISM, didn't we? Totally. I'd never heard anything on the Squawk, so I completely ignored it. Maybe I'm having some issues with the Squawk. I need to refresh it. Let's try that. Lunch. You know what? It shows it to me on my economic releases, but it doesn't show it to me on the Forex Factory calendar. Says FOMC member Waller speaks at 11 a.m. And we got a 3-year bond auction. That's all we got. What's tomorrow? Is tomorrow like core retail sales? Which could also be wrong because they're expecting a spot 5 for core and 1% for retail sales. The previous was 9.8. So if this ends up being negative again, I don't know, man. When you come over and you look at retail sales, it's like, oh, it's so random. But yeah, I don't know. So we don't have any more news to deal with today. I sat through a whole oscillation there because I thought, oh, well, maybe this will turn down, and then it wasn't doing it, so I gave up. Well, I'll try putting one out. The dollar strengthened there too, by the way. I see ZB down a little bit compared to the rest. There's our up too. Some steepening. That curve is all over the place. Man, that would have been a good trade. It was a little slow. I should have just marketed into it. This is panic buying. Minimize that. Fed's Barkin says, I'm optimistic that we're nearing the end of the recovery process. No, I want the recovery process to just continue going on forever, Barkin. You don't want it to end now. Do you have a good indicator that tells the overall direction for intraday? Ah, I wish. I have to tell you, WineTube, I've done a lot of work with moving averages and stuff to try and, is there a way that you can kind of tell what like the daily direction is and everything else like that? And the issue is that it can change so quickly. See, you really can't say for sure. You know, they turned there. We got a decent turn there, right? This could be a good short now. But I don't really know. Gotta find your edge inside the daily prop. Well, maybe so like my take on that, it would be that there are so many little things that can affect the market. We can't know all of them, and that there's really a lot of noise in this kind of a situation. You want an edge. How big of an edge do you really need to overcome the noise? You know, if it's just like what are the general probabilities that happen on a day and that sort of thing, I'm not sure that that's enough. You know, I'm not sure that that's enough. If I have a CPI print that's double what the expectation was, like that's a strong signal, right? I can really confidently make predictions off of that. I can, as soon as that came out, I was like, well, I should be selling it, But right now, how much of an edge do I really have? I don't know. This is where I would say that if we have an edge, it's in how we manage the trade, right? We could have taken that long and just held on to it, and I guess you could call it luck, but it would be in how you manage the long. There are good indicators to give over trend into many time frames that they are all garbage. Well, like let's split that down a little bit, right? Are there indicators out there that will give you a pretty good idea of what the current trend is? Yes. But the current trend can change so quickly. Can trade change so quickly that I can't come out and say to you, if we're above this moving average or below this moving average and you take it along, you'll win X% of the time. Because that's not the way that they work. Remember that a moving average cross is not a high probability trade. It is actually quite a low probability trade. And the way that you can make it profitable is that you hold on to them. That it will, since it will indicate the beginning of a trend, you can get in at the start of the trend and hold it for a long time. That's where those can kind of give you edge. Right. But is there something that I've I've got built like when you say like a directional bias, let's say we're going for 16 ticks. I want 16 tick winner, 16 tick stop. And I pick a random spot as long as the trend indicator that I'm using indicates that we're moving in X direction, right? I've never been able to find something that really gives you a solid probability from that. They're all in line with noise. They're all, close to 50, essentially, between 45 and 50, given equal risk reward. So, you get what I'm saying? Like just the natural noise is stronger than the trend. I was watching it thinking of you there, Ace, because I was like, well, there's a cross. I don't know if you go short on that one or not, but thought I have in regards to that is how much, say, 25% of the year in the S&P 500 is actually just keeping up with real inflation versus what is shown in the CPI. Sure. Well, you can go and look at the S&P 500 in dollar terms versus the S&P 500 in euro terms, and you can kind of see the change in that. And you will see, like, markets have been doing well overall, but there still is a pretty big gap when you take the inflation out, yeah. But this is why I have this dollar out. But you can see here today, it doesn't matter. Normally it's like the dollar is trending down, then I want to be long the E-mini. But, well, I guess it has been trending down, but like it was back and forth between here. It was only this spot right here. So I guess on this move down, that was the time period that we had the longest upswing in the E-mini. By the way, the autocorrelation in the E-mini is extremely high right now. It's giving me spot 9.4, which is really like over spot 9 is like so much autocorrelation that you maybe want to reverse it. Spot 9.4 is really high. So this is definitely turning into an unusual uptrend, right?
Block buy.
So where was that block by? 06. Oh, they right into the high, huh? Hold on. Okay, well, so if the 10-year treasury is going to try and retrace these single prints, they would go all the way to 132 and 12.5. So there could be more upside potential in it, but it's very questionable that they can do that. What did I say? Very, very questionable. It would be an unusual move, I think. Let's say that. What is autocorrelation? It means that so the more autocorrelation there is, the more that it's just like a straight uptrend. Means that past price movements correlate to future price movements very well, right? So like if it moves up, 1 point every minute, exactly 1 point every minute, that would be like 100% autocorrelation. Oh, come on. Like you think you're putting in something reasonable and then they go to it and they're like, no, I don't think so.
Winston Smon says, voilà, informally, it is the similarity between observations a function of the time lag between them.
Winston's mum says, autokorrelation, also known as serial correlation, is the correlation of a signal with a delayed copy of itself as a function of delay.
Well, that's like a way complicated explanation. So when I talk about r squared specifically, okay, so here's where it's like, okay, we manage it. So we got something going. Should have moved my target. He sold pump it. Oh, YouTube, you have to do the, yeah.
Winston's mum says, clip r squared specifically a j wheel is not squared.
Will SPX and ES ever be the same? No, they tend to be different. I don't completely understand that. We should go and look at and see if the CME has any webinars about the ES particularly, where they might talk about that sort of stuff. There might be some mispricings in the market that we could maybe look at that I'm not aware of. You know, or spreads. So I've just been learning that in the treasury market, not only is there the futures and the cash market, and that those actually do tend to be a little bit different. Like they're priced differently, so you have to know how to convert between them. But then also you can do it with the repo market. So I didn't know that there was like a three-way relationship. So I'm kind of looking at the E-mini now, and I've been wondering, okay, so is there are other relationships in the E-mini that I should be aware of? So noticing now what you're getting is very large swings, right? Like 10 tick swings here, up and down very quickly. Is that right? 4 ticks, but then this should have been 4. How come it was down there? Oh, because that was where I got you. Okay. Hopefully this is a top. It's certainly behaving in a way that could result in a little bit of sideways action at the very least. Maybe they'll break the high to stop me out first, and then. Oh, really? I'm just hearing over the news squawk that on the pipeline shutdown and hack and everything, that they paid a ransom in cryptocurrency almost immediately after the hack. So I don't think that the issue is that they're still hacked. I think the issue is it disrupted their operations so much that it's taking time for them to bring everything back up. Fed's barking. Within hours of the cyber assault, the Colonial Pipeline paid the hefty ransom in cryptocurrencies. Well, I'm going to get stopped out again. It's okay. Let's try taking it along. Watch it come all the way back on us. Should be fun. Spy calls expiring tomorrow have only gone up 100%. Think that cybersecurity ETFs have a good future? I'm not so sure. So there was something that was up big time yesterday, right? I don't remember what it was, but there was a cybersecurity company of some sort that did really well. But you just remember again what I was saying yesterday. Well, oh, you were there. Were you there yesterday when we were talking about this? Uh, there's going to be more onerous, more difficult requirements put on everybody. It's going to cost them more to do business, essentially, in the short term. Like, the question is, how much does this increase their business? And it's unclear on that side. But I know that, you know, the development side for them becomes a little bit more difficult here. They have to step up and you know, that's going to take some investment on their part. Your inside prints. Oh, you're right. You are correct, sir. That's interesting. How long has it been like that? And I have to pay attention to that and see if it's screwed up tomorrow. Seeing this is just terrible. FOMO'd in for no reason. Well, not for no reason, but I mean, in this situation, I just don't think that there's any edge for me in the E-mini. I kept them all in the experimental account because I was never confident. If I had gotten a win, then I should have flipped it, but I never did. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if I'll take another one in the E-mini, but I'm going to continue to pay attention to see if it gives me an opportunity in the treasury again. So that one that I caught earlier was pretty good, but treasuries have been on the steady incline too, but very slow move up in the treasuries. Yeah, I keep seeing tweets on here about how Tether is revealing how their reserves break down, and there's like a huge portion of it that everybody's like, well, what is that? Hmm. Nope. You're gonna get the natural gas numbers here in a bit. Not that that ever affects the E-mini much, but so one of the frustrating things is that there hasn't been much correlation with the dollar today. Was that an all-time high? Oh, it's not even close. It's certainly a lot more than we've been getting recently, but we've had the first stream we had 6,000 people. During GameStop we had 1,000 people. We've certainly been high. Well, once I start getting over 50, and there's not any specific reason for why that's really good. I don't know why they'd be watching. I'm just guessing right now. And I haven't gotten a single one of these in the treasuries or in the ES to go my way. It's terrible. I had one worked in the treasury, but I'm noticing that it's like hard to get fills. Yeah, see, that's pretty par for the course. Only 6 favorable. So I'm probably in the wrong spot of the oscillation. I'm getting like in the middle of it. Hard to chase ZNS on this. Maybe some pullback into the 30-year auction. Well, it is consolidating, but it just looks to me like he had a big mid order, and they're kind of running into the impact. So I don't know if this is there's going to be another leg up. Like the way that they're acting right now kind of does suggest that there'd be another leg up. But look at the cumulative delta came back considerably. So catch that right there in the E-mini or in the 10-year. Decent. Okay, so they clear out 5.5. 8K. Look, there's the E-mini again, new high. That was a pretty solid fall, huh? No panic, market surge as transitory inflation narrative reasserts itself. Is there like some quotes or something from somebody that gets me back? FANG sector solidly in the green as closely watched 5-year break-even slide nominals are down to session lows. Wall Street traders also find comfort in the latest hot take from Morgan Stanley's QDS Dex, which notes that the trading desk noted there was no major panic outside the systemic community as the transitory inflation narrative appeared to be adopted. And furthermore, the desk continues to see demand in mega cap tech from the longer-term community for the third day in a row. Optimism was also found by market commentary from JP Morgan, which almost verbatim echoed what we said yesterday. Remember, the Fed is focused on jobs, not inflation, which is transitory. This does not change delayed tapering. And overnight, wrote that despite the blistering hot CPI and now PPI, nothing has changed from the Fed's view. The Fed is focused on the labor market, believing that transitory inflation can be weathered by consumers. Okay. For those asking how to monetize this line of thinking, JP Morgan recommends commodities and commodity-linked equities, specifically energy, considered both integrates like XOM and CVX or XLE for general exposure. Further, refiners are strong play through quarter 2021, quarter 3, potentially longer, and would view VLO and PC as the favored ways to play. In addition to that, inflation expectations are likely to pull yields higher, which benefits banks. Seems to me like oil is like the most popular trade right now. I typed Elon Musk into YouTube's search bar and hit the filters to look for live, and your channel comes up number 8. I'm 8. I want to be number 1. That's unfortunate. Wait. I'm gonna try that. And it might only be doing that because you're logged in. If you do it from like an anonymous, what do you call it? An incognito tab, it might be different. Filters, live channels. Okay, well, I'm not going to beat Jim Cramer in the street. Shiba Inu, the channel. Oh my gosh. Oh, they're all talking about Shiba Inu coin. What the fetch? Shiba Inu live. That's so freaking retarded. They seem like they're all the same channel, too. Well, whatever. It says 26 watching, like, oh, that's sad. So look at this. It's probably only because of this. Here, we'll try it. Like, 2.8. Okay, 410 people are watching Jim Cramer. Well, that's okay. 1,000 people watching Shiba Inu. And then, oh, there's us, 26. But what if we do it in a new private window? Okay. YouTube. Elon Musk. Filters. Live. Oh, nope, I'm still there. Cool. By the way, they didn't tick into our fill. Or where our fill would have been when we didn't know I canceled it. Curious, So, I'm sorry guys, we're not popular. You should all just leave now. I've noticed where one title and thumbnail will appear under 4 or 5 different channel names. So maybe the viewers on those channels aren't even legitimate. I didn't even know what this Shiba, all of a sudden yesterday, everybody was talking about Shiba Inu coin, and like they tried to give some to Vitalik and he sold it all. It seems to me like what's going on is there's these people out there with a lot of money in cryptocurrencies and they pay influencers to pump coins. And because right now I feel like if you see an influencer and they're picking up on like a shit coin that was just created and immediately takes off, I would stop watching that person straight up because they're involved in shady stuff.
Winston's mom says, leave now. Speaking of which, you have 20 minutes to wrap up today. You have a title. Any last thoughts? Besides my mom and traders gonna trade smokes are available in the store below.
So we need a mom's gonna mom. That's funny. Who's the Belfort of the crypto / penny stock boom? I think everybody is. This is isn't that what it is now? Everybody is a Jordan Belfort now. I'm just gonna take the fill. They're going to go behind me. They're going to completely reverse this move. I'm going to be like, I should have stayed in, but I'm going to take the fill. That's a prudent thing to do today because I've been terrible. I guess it's actually not that terrible. I had 1, 2, 3, 4 losers and a small loser. But now I have 3 losers and a small loser. So 35. Or no, 65. I guess I gotta wait, let it come back up. We still got 15 minutes. People don't understand The Wolf of Wall Street, the movie. I mean, there are some people do, but the majority of people don't understand it. It's either that or they understand it and they're being satirical. But the whole point of the movie is to prove to you that you're no better than him. The whole point of the movie is to point out that if you were in that situation, that you would have gotten fooled by him or you would have actively participated with him. That's the whole point of the movie. People don't get it. The whole thing is like, there's hookers and they're doing all this crazy stuff and it's fun and he's hype and I want to be hype about it. But you know that he's doing something illegal. And at the very end of it, they come in and they turn it on and they're like, okay, first of all, now that we're not going to show you that everything is funny anymore. We're going to show that it's all coming crashing down. And then at the very end, we're going to show you, look, he's doing a webinar. Everybody's watching him. You're watching him too. And you want to learn how to hustle like him. And you would listen to his webinar. That's the whole point of the movie. And cryptocurrency in this cycle proves it. Proves Martin Scorsese right. Y'all, given the chance when it wasn't illegal, because the cryptocurrency market is not regulated, what did all of the influencers do? Made new shit coins and pumped them to people. Y'all trying to scam each other out of money. So very sad. It's like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, total. I agree. Actually, like there's some ideas in Rich Dad, Poor Dad that are good. And I guess if you were like poor and you didn't intuitively understand these sorts of things, then it would be great. But the reality is that Rich Dad, Poor Dad is organized to encourage you to continue buying his products and chase after a dream that is unrealistic for people. They come in there and he's like, well, what you need to do is you need to get the different stream of income that isn't based on trading your time for money and things like that. Well, it's like, yes, but then you're taking on risk. And you know that the majority of people that try to do that, even that try to be entrepreneurs just in general, not trading, lose money. Yeah. Trading your time for money is not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you're doing something that's valuable, that's valued by the market. And I'm sure that most of his money has been made from selling those stupid books. A lot of these guys, their majority of their made. So I give you an example of somebody that I respect. Graham Stephan. Hey, he's got a big channel. You guys have seen him on YouTube, right? Okay, like that guy, he went and he did real estate and he hustled. He didn't know jack squat. He hustled and he made money for it, for sure. So I think you can turn around and you can say that he's been successful with real estate. Okay, but you know what he's really been successful with? YouTube. He's rich. He has the things. He's able to have a video, a recording room with a GT500 in the background of it because of YouTube. Okay. If Skynet becomes real, you know Nestle as well. Have you looked into Siacoin? They go and look up Siacoin, because Siacoin recently has been on the rise because of a new community project called Skynet. They're literally calling it Skynet. Well, they went quite a bit through my my stop at 12, so I could have gotten another 2 points on that, but now it is reverted and it is right back up to where we got in at. People don't buy stock, it gets sold to them. Don't ever forget that. In Jordan's world, yes. There are still some value investors left, okay? What is his name? Peter Thiel. He still owns a hedge fund. He hasn't given up yet. Is that who is that? Let me double check here. No, that's not him. That's not him. Who is it? What's his freaking name? Well, Michael Burry. Michael Burry is one. Michael Burry totally fits. Ah, yes, Bill Ackman. That's right. Look, Bill Ackman, he's still there. There are still some value investors left. The most contrarian thing of all is not to oppose the crowd, but to think for yourself. Still waiting for when his prediction about ETF bottlenecks comes true. Dude was on. Well, you see it yesterday, right? So we saw. I wasn't able to pull up the chart because I didn't subscribe to them anymore. But you can still see them on Twitter, and they said that 30% of the activity yesterday was from ETF selling. So what really happened yesterday was all of the funds like shed risk, and now today all the retail traders are just back in to buy it up again. By the way, Bill Ackman took a stake in Domino's Pizza. Sounds interesting. Sounds like an interesting play. I remember Domino's doing well in the past. I do like their pizza. But I don't want to just follow Bill, right? That says to me like he's already bought it. I don't know. Well, value investors, the way value investors work are a little bit different, right? He probably gets 6% because that's like the most that he can afford to get, but it's not the same thing as like a quantitative strategy. The issue is I think that the problems with ETFs are already like front and center, and we can very clearly see where they're problematic, and like nobody cares, and I don't think anybody's ever going to do anything about it. So you're just always going to get down moves in particular that are overextended because of ETFs. So I guess we can take advantage of it. Dozen things I've learned from Bill Ackman about value and activist investing. Oh, that's another. You know what I would love to get into, to be honest with you? I don't know how to get into this. I don't know, how would I do it? Do I just go and find one of these big guys and follow them? But then I don't want to just be a follower. You know what I mean? I want to be able to think, but activist investing, I'm totally in on that. And you know what? Who would my first target? Activision Blizzard. That guy, Bobby Kotick, I freaking hate that guy's guts. I think he ruined the company, and I think he should be ousted. I think that the company, yeah, it's up because it's gaming and like the whole gaming industry is up, but they have underperformed their peers. He has ruined their company's value. Blizzard is a mess. They should get rid of him. That's where I would start. Activist investing, all the gamers, buy Activision Blizzard, kick out Bobby Kotick, make Blizzard great again. Who's with me? Who's with me? Do you see? Oh, you know who should look at it? Those guys that made StarCraft 2 left and made their own company. I'm excited. Maybe they make a real-time strategy. Because the thing with StarCraft is it's a real-time strategy with a lot of mechanical difficulty. Like clicking and telling people to move around in their exact spot and using their abilities is a significant part of the game. And I think that that's fun. I think that that's what makes StarCraft fun. That's what makes StarCraft a game that you can play over and over and over again for decades. Do you play WoW? No, I never played WoW. That came out on my mission, and I never cared for RPGs, to be honest with you. I really hate anything. This is so weird. I don't like anything that is grinding, basically. These things where you go out and you kill the same thing over and over again to get levels. But on the other hand, I do kind of enjoy Diablo. Diablo is a fun game, like in short doses. If I could get my wife to play that with me, she doesn't like the aesthetic. You need a different game. Has a different aesthetic. StarCraft. Ah, man. How would I do it? Find a mentor. Okay, Bill Ackman. If you would like to be my mentor to teach me how to become an activist investor and go in with me on ousting Bobby Kotick from Activision, please send me an email to speculatorseth@protonmail.com. I think it's been 23 years since I played StarCraft addictively. Well, don't start again, man. I tell you what. So here's the thing with StarCraft, Mike. When we played it 23 years ago, it was a different game. We didn't understand it. Okay. These pros, they've been playing it now the whole time. If you go and look up Africa Esports and then go and watch the English versions of their tournament that they have, so much fun to watch. I think it's better than any sport out there. I think it's more fun to watch than basketball. And Artosis and Tasteless are so funny. They're fun to watch. We watch it for them, really, and not for StarCraft. But I digress. StarCraft is an interesting game to watch regardless. And it has so much depth. But once you understand the way that the professionals play it and everything, all of a sudden it opens this whole new world. And then you try and learn how to play it and everything, and you kind of know what your goals are, like what it is that you need to be like getting better at and getting good at. And it becomes engaging because I can't think of anything else where I'm going to go in, except for maybe trading. I'm going to go in and I'm going to do something and I'm going to lose, and then I can come back and look at like, okay, I can do this, this, and this. Like the constant feeling of I'm working and I'm improving, even if it's little bits by little bits. It's fun. And with StarCraft now, you can kind of know that like you're on the right track because you know where the goal is now because you can watch the pros. That's fun. It's a fun game. Brood War. Not StarCraft 2, Brood War, man. So you want that mechanical difficulty is, I think, what the thing that makes it. And I hope that those guys that left Blizzard make a game like that and that it does well. Probably what's going to happen is it'll come out and it'll bomb and everybody will be like, RTS is dead. Everything except for Call of Duty is dead. I don't know. What are you going to do? You noticed, I thought, after with the pen, I don't know what I thought. I thought that, hey, there should be some good games out in 2021 and maybe I can pick up another shooter and have fun again. Nope. Seems that something happened with the pandemic and they just stopped making games because there hasn't been any really big games out in a while. Heck, there's another move into the highs. It doesn't end. It looks like, I don't know, is today going to be a trend day up? It could be. And I have no clue why, but yeah, well, I mean, I guess we can kind of say, but I don't know if that's a call that I can make. What can I do to come in and say, what are the chances that we get a trend day up today? PUBG is still good? I'm not a fan of that. I don't like this thing where it's you sit and wait in the lobby and they put you into a game and then you have to go and find a gun and then you can go and kill people and then you'll die and then you have to go through that whole reloading process over again. Give me Quake again. Why can't we just play Quake or Unreal Tournament? I mean, those games are out there, but nobody plays them, right? All action all the time. If I'm going to be playing a shooter, why isn't it that? Well, Call of Duty is kind of like that, isn't it? I guess there'll be Halo later this year. I never played Halo. Halo on PC doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but whatever. Whatever. When I watch people play Halo, I feel like that they're running and jumping through water. When they jump, it's why is it so slow? Anyways, guys, it's time for me to go. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay profitable, friends.